Your official Wildcat and Ladycat station, KSST 1230 AM Sulphur Springs. It's time for Wildcat Soccer. Let's go out to Joe Prim Stadium where tonight's game is called by KSST Sports Director Ross Levinsky. Ross?
Thank you so much, James Terry, as always, and welcome out to Gerald Prim Stadium, home to, at this point in the school year, Wildcats soccer. And man, do we have, I think, what'll be a fun one, if not a high-scoring one, as the Wildcats host their new district foe, the Mount Pleasant Chapel Hill Red Devils. Red Devils are looking to pick up another win in district play. They are admittedly one of the lower teams in 15-4A. In fact, after a game already played in March, well, actually at this point, two. Just one. They are 1-7. So 8 games have been played for all the district teams, and 1-7. Their lone win coming over the winless Liberty Ilo Leopards, and as something I've talked about during the last time the Wildcats played them, a 11-0 blowout. No, it was 10-0. Coach Upton told me, and we found out from talking to a few of their assistant coaches, that they just restarted the program. In fact, it was down for 2 years, but starting it back up this year just with the men's soccer program. No women's team, which is why in 15-4A for women's soccer, the Lady Cats do not play the Lady Leopards because, again, no women's soccer program for Liberty Ilo, as they are just starting it back up. But since then, the Wildcats have picked up a number of wins and a loss along the way. In fact, most recently this past Friday in Paris, they lost in PKs. That was a final score of 1-1. So that was the first loss for Wildcat soccer. They are, according to Coach Upton, 8-1 in district play, and tied with Paris now at 8-1. So both teams now having a win against the other. And as a result, Sulphur Springs and Paris are tied for first. But Wildcats soccer hosting the second to last team in district. I believe that is, sixth. That's, as we talked about during a tough Wildcat football season last year. It's a lot easier to say, or it's a lot more palatable to say sixth place as opposed to second to last or worse. But Sulphur Springs, already almost 2 minutes into this one, put a lot of pressure on Chapel Hill. Red Devils were able to advance the ball a bit, but just as quickly as Wildcats soccer starts taking it right back to them, they get called for offsides. Free kick from the goalie for the Red Devils, up about 25 yards out. It goes to the Wildcats. Sulphur Springs once again pushing in midfield, but the Red Devils doing a very nice job of also pushing it down. Sulphur Springs out near midfield, and way too much oomph on that one. The goalie for Chapel Hill all alone and coming to that one. Nice movement there in the forward position, but Chapel Hill gets some good pressure, starts taking it down. Sulphur Springs now inside the 10. Just one man to beat. Oh, couldn't connect. Just waited a little too long on that one, and as a result, he and the goalie collided. Goalkeeper with another free kick, this time from his own goal. Ooh, tough shot there. Not sure if he had enough power on that one to potentially send it to the goal, but there were a whole lot of Chapel Hill players in between him and then. As a result, starts going back the other way. Wildcats throwing it in on the inline, far side. Ooh, good cross. Oh, but couldn't connect with its intended target. Five minutes into this one. Clean sheet for both squads. Corner. Couple men in position. No. Wait, maybe. Oh!
That's a goal by Action Jackson Harris.
Goal Wildcats. Sulphur Springs takes goal number 1 here. They do it in the 5th minute. Now leading 1-0. Red Devils kick it all the way downfield, but goalkeeper for Sulphur Springs, Ty Wynn, all alone coming to it. Red Devils still with it, but something Coach Upton has stressed all year long as his team, it's kind of, as he described it, their mantra was defense wins championships, and he's not wrong. But it also helps when you can put a number of goals in. In fact, that's something they've been doing all year long. I mean, my goodness. Besides that 1-1 tie, both games with Paris going to PKs. Sulphur Springs moving it down. Ooh. In between. Just went a little too far north on that one. Kicked all the way from the goalie, or goalkeeper, to near midfield. Once again, Sulphur Springs with it. He's got a couple of men. He readjusts. Looking for options, and not the pass he was wanting. Goes straight to the keeper. For Mount Pleasant Chapel Hill, they trail 1-0. About 7 minutes into this one. Sulphur Springs currently with it. Kiefer, good challenge on his man. He tackles it away. Beautiful job there. Wildcats, great job coming to it again. Ty Wynn being tested here in the 8th minute, and he's seen, I want to say that's at least 4 touches. No saves, but a good number of free kicks. So Chapel Hill not going to go quietly here. Running to it is Uriel Santa Cruz, and he's able to pass it, but not until he is just about out. And as a result, it goes out on the Wildcats. But we've got a whistle here. Called against the Wildcats. Free kick coming here for the Red Devils at about their own 33-yard line. And these Red Devils have got some power. Ooh. And pretty decent pass through the air, but just shy of its intended target. Red Devil coming in. Win, moving back. Red Devil couldn't quite outrun his man. Great job there by Sulphur Springs to just push it out. However, we do have a corner coming up for Chapel Hill, far side. Here's the corner kick. And beautiful header away. Sulphur Springs playing really good defense, as I mentioned earlier. Something Coach Upton has been stressing, because in non-district play, it's not that they couldn't score, it's that they struggle to score at times. But obviously, those listening, a lot of football fans, well, soccer's a little bit different, of course. 2-goal difference, I should say, is considered a blowout. So, and they had a couple of those in non-district play, but a lot of 1-0s. Free kick coming here. Or Chapel Hill's got it, far side. And Sulphur Springs, great job with their backs. Who really don't allow a whole lot of forwards and strikers past them. And if they do, it's like the previous possession where Alexis Passion quickly chases down his man and just tackles the ball out. Does bring a corner, but with it is Jackson. Near side. And ooh, good job last second keeping it in. Chapel Hill, though, does end up with it. Ooh, even better moves now. Great quickness. Number 10 for Chapel Hill. Having trouble escaping his man. Really good defense here. Wow, beautiful tackle there. That was J.C. Salas. However, Chapel Hill able to get it all the way back to their keeper. Sulphur Springs running into the ball as it was released. So it's a corner from their own goal. Sulphur Springs at midfield, leading 1-0 here in the 13th minute. Got the first goal from Jackson in the 5th, and the Wildcats looking to do a bit more damage. But Chapel Hill's wised up a bit on defense since then. Man, great moves. Shaking his defender. With it are the Red Devils, but quickly the Wildcats chase to it. Passion with it on the near side. Some substitutions here. Looks like Jose Manuel Rodriguez is coming out. We resume the action here in the 14th minute. Great job boxing out his defender with it. Ooh, beautiful push way. Matthew Clark. Able to kick it out past the forward position. Jackson, near side. Ooh. Too much mustard on that pass. He sends it out. Oh, and great quickness. Wildcats got it. 2 men to beat. Great job. He makes 2 men miss. And oh, just left of the goal. No goal there by Sulphur Springs. They still lead 1-0 here in the 15th minute. Looking to recover from Friday night's PK loss in Paris. Came out hot, scoring a goal in the 5th minute. Corner kick. And oh, goal!
Whoa.
Sulphur Springs leads here 2-0. What a goal there. Able to just beautifully bounce down all the way at the bottom of the goal on the field, or rather on the turf, I should say, then bounce all the way up to the top of the goal and back down. No question about it. That's a goal, and that's a 2-0 lead for Sulphur Springs. Wildcats taking it back. Good push by the Red Devils, but Jackson with it. Now it's Santa Cruz. Ooh. Great chase down by 15 for Chapel Hill. We've got a corner kick here. Near side. With it is Salazar. Devils try to get it back to midfield. And not the best attempt by Sulphur Springs, but they do get an attempt on goal. And Chapel Hill makes a hapless effort to push it down. Throwing it in are the Red Devils. Bassione back with it. Now it's Clark. And Clark so deadly on that left side. Always able to push it out or get it to his other guys. Sulphur Springs with a little bit of room. Salazar. Now Jackson. Ooh. No goal there. Looks like it was about a foot right of the goal. And and maybe didn't have the spin he wanted on that one. Chapel Hill getting pressured intensely left side by Sulphur Springs. Looks like Salazar's coming up with it, or at least trying to tackle his man, but gets a little too physical with it, so we've got a free kick here on the Wildcat side of the 50. Where is that? About the 42.5-yard line. Oof. Wildcat is there to let it ricochet off his body. That's Salazar. Can't come back to it. However, Hector Hernandez is able to. Salazar evades one man. I'm sorry, that was J.C. Salas. Ooh, and that was a big tackle. No question about that one. Took about a half a second for the ref to blow his whistle on that one. Free kick for Sulphur Springs. Looks like it's Santa Cruz who will be the one to do it. It's about at the 12-yard line, it looks like, maybe 13. Santa Cruz. No, it's not Santa Cruz. But Salazar. Wide right. No goal for the Wildcats, but they have kept the pressure on these Red Devils. Chapel Hill. They played North Lamar on Friday. And North Lamar, I figured they would win, so they would be at that point 3-6. So they've got just 3 more games. They'll have a bye here over the coming weeks. So will Sulphur Springs, as they have played 9 games as well. Oh, ricochets off the goalkeeper for the Red Devils. Sulphur Springs still with it. Devils really trying to stymie any sort of momentum. Sulphur Springs has had their way here in the first period, leading 2-0 here in the 22nd minute. Ooh, beautiful tackle. J.C. Salas with it. No, I'm sorry, that's Mariano Quarenta. Sulphur Springs still with it, though. Salazar near the corner. But way too much oomph on that cross. Well over the goal. Free kick from the keeper. Sulphur Springs with a throw-in of their own. Kicked out by the striker. Chapel Hill getting a throw-in of their own. Salazar. Far side. With it. It's Jefferson Bonilla. Closest Wildcat to it is Hector Hernandez. Good pursuit by Kevin Garcia, the defender. Wrestling the ball away. They've definitely been a little aggressive at times, but Sulphur Springs has seen some pretty decent tackling here tonight. Doing a good job of taking it away from the Red Devils. Doing what they hope to do to Sulphur Springs, stymieing any momentum, but the Wildcats just doing a really nice job of keeping it, well, I'd say in about Mount Pleasant Chapel Hill side of the 50, but really you should probably extend it another 10, maybe 15 yards, because they've at least, pushed it up. It wasn't like that awful Liberty Isla blowout. Yeah, 10-0 that blowout was. Shot highlights for that game. Also shot highlights last Friday for Lady Cat Soccer, courtesy of Matt Jansen. So thank you, Matt. Haven't had a chance to get to it yet, but I'm sure it's divine. With it. Are the Wildcats. It's in the far corner, in line. But we've got a whistle here. And it's against the Wildcats. Throw in here. Gets past the backs for Sulphur Springs. However, little issue for Ty Wynn. And a rainbow sort of punt. Gets out to Sulphur Springs 40. Wildcats with it at midfield, though. Ooh, it's a good kick, Tellez. But he couldn't connect. Big tackle there from the Red Devils. He did have his defender and maybe one other man to beat for the goal, but couldn't connect. They do have a corner, though. Here's the corner kick. Ooh. And a little too close to the goal. Why do I say that? Because it landed literally on top of the net. So, corner kick. Too far forward. Now, free kick from the keeper. Your Wildcats leading 2-0 here in the 27th minute. And Upton already made some substitutions earlier. Good chase down from the Red Devils, far side. They come up with it. And just as quickly, your Wildcats come right back with it. Near side, it's J.C. Salas. And then it looks like it was attempted to be pushed up to Aubrey Camacho, but a little too far in front of the 5'7" senior. So Camacho just watches it go over his head. Free kick here from the keeper for Chapel Hill. The Wildcats looking to pick up their first win in the month of March. They fell in PKs at Paris. Coach Upton said following that loss Friday night, it was only the first loss for Sulphur Springs. But yeah, Coach Upton was saying that it was a wild game and officiating just wasn't on their side that night. Which, sometimes that happens. Especially rekindling that Sulphur Springs-Paris rivalry. Although, admittedly, probably the rivalry's died down a bit since it's been quite some time since Sulphur Springs and Paris last played in a district together. Prior to this season, of course, Sulphur Springs was playing in that predominantly I-30 district, and good save from the keeper, but that one is not a good save. Wildcats score! Goal number 3. Your Wildcats putting it on the Red Devils. This game well in control already. Your Wildcats leading the 1-7 Chapel Hill Red Devils 3-0. Goal number 3 comes in the 30th minute, first and the 5th. So Sulphur Springs scoring early and often here. And keeping the pressure on these Red Devils. Perhaps it's best not to overreact to big wins over not as good a competition, but still. See this team, like I was saying, kind of struggle to put up more than 2 goals in games. To see them just really score sometimes, like here tonight, early and often. Pushing it forward with it. On the far side, he's got options. Beautiful cross. Oh, no, it's deflected off the hands. Wildcats still with it. Salas, not as great of a cross, but oh, the goalie just able to somewhat fall down on it, and Chapel Hill kicks it into the near corner. So you know what that means. Your Wildcats have a corner kick coming up, leading 3-0. Now less than 9 minutes to go here in this first period. With it, near side is Aubrey Camacho. And maybe his intended target fell down on that one. I believe that was intended for J.C. Salas, but Salas fell down on that one. And as a result, the ball just flew past the goal. And really, all players involved. Chapel Hill kicks it out. Just like that raucous set of events, but we've got another corner. And there's this massive bodies, but Wildcats celebrating. They think they've got one. So they'll say the goal is good. Wow. It's really tough to see what happened there in that scrum. There were at least, I want to say, 2 Red Devils and 2 Wildcats, not to mention a goalkeeper. And your Wildcats leading big, 4-0. Man, this one coming about 3 minutes after the last one. So really doing some extra damage here in the final 10, or at least at the first period. So I have a whole second period to go. Red Devils trailing big here, 4-0. So they're going to really have to savor every opportunity they get to push it really down to tie win. Because don't get me wrong, he's had to... No, in fact, I don't think he's made a single save tonight. I think he's just had the ball easily rolled to him with no one within 20 yards of him.
I gotta find I have like 5. Why? I don't get caught. What?
Sulphur Springs. Gets contact from Yuri. Last touched by Camacho at the end line, so Chapel Hill throwing it in. Passion, nearest Wildcat. Santa Cruz. I wonder if they'll call that a clean tackle. They'll let it play out. Good pursuit. Far side. Just overall, really nice defense. Ooh, beautiful tackle. Now racing past his man. Is Santa Cruz with it now? Far side. Kick back. Uh-oh, 1 man to beat. Go! Wildcats! No ifs, ands, or buts about that one. Sulphur Springs scoring their 5th goal here tonight. They lead big over Chapel Hill. 5-0. And we've still got 5.5 minutes to go here in this first period.
If you fell it, then you don't get it. Then like, how long did you do? She said, she was like, what is that? I'm just going to walk out. If I get caught, I'll just
Sulphur Springs just really doing damage now. Scored a goal, their first goal in the 5th minute. Able to add number 2. 10 minutes later. But now 3 goals here in the final 10 of the first period. They lead 5-0. So it looks like Sulphur Springs maybe venting some frustrations after Friday's loss. Well, and Coach Upton said about that loss in Paris at Wildcat Stadium, not Gerald Prim Stadium, Wildcat Stadium for those who've perhaps not been out there to Paris. But, he said about the officiating, he said, it's not an excuse, it is what it is, but him and his team, good thing they've kind of got a loss under their skin, because say things go their way and they win out from here on, it's better to get that loss under your belt in the regular season, of course, than the postseason, because that's always my thing with perfect teams or near perfect teams. It's like, okay, well, You know, sometimes it can be elusive. If you're not always challenged, then, you know, sometimes you can get surprised a little bit. Looks like we've got a potential goal here for Wildcats. Yes, goal! Goal number 6 here in the first period. Your Wildcats lead 6-0.
No, I'm not on those. Here.
Attention, if you were playing in the halftime soccer game, please make your way down to the turf. Thank you.
Hey, I'll fucking rip that bitch off. With the tag. All right.
Chapel Hill. Kicks it up. With it is Sulphur Springs moving it forward, but the Red Devils have been pretty good at wrestling it away at midfield. Probably the lone bright spot here in what is now a 6-0 rout of Chapel Hill. Ooh, 2 men facing Ty Wynn. Great sliding tackle. Ooh, wide left of the goal. Could have ended a shutout from about 8 yards out, but it is wide left by Chapel Hill. It stays 6-0 in favor of your Wildcats. Free kick here from Tywin. The senior, with quite a leg, able to push it all the way to just about the 50. Once again, great moves. Far side. It's Salazar. And last Wildcat to touch it. Sends it just about to the corner here on the near side. They'll say it was last touched by Chapel Hill. Mount Pleasant's Red Devils trailing big here. Good save though on that one. So the keeper able to at least momentarily stop the bleeding. And what is very quickly here in the last about 9 minutes just completely blown out. I mean, it was already blowout when Sulphur Springs was leading 2-0, but then in the 30th minute getting the third one, leading 3-0, and goodness, 3 more cents in the last 9 minutes. Your Wildcats scoring big here, early and often. And once again, pushing it down far side, but we've got a whistle here. And it looks like that Wildcat took a little damage on that one. Tywin substituting in for the free kick from inside the 10, and it is deflected by the first line of defense. Win starts rushing back, but stays at right about midfield corner And the cross, no good by the Wildcats. So we'll have a free kick, but no. 0-0s on the clock here in the first period. So your Wildcats here at the break leading in a huge way, 6-0. We're going to take a break, and when we return, it'll be time for the second period for your Wildcats. Looking to pile it on even further. They lead Mount Pleasant's Chapel Hill 6-0.
Okay, we're out. How much do you want?
We've got 15 minutes. Why don't you give me like 7 or 8?
Okay.
At this time, please welcome our 7th and 8th grade Sulphur Springs Wildcats. They'll be participating in a few soccer matches for halftime today.
25 seconds. Ten seconds. 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back out to Gerald Prim Stadium. You're listening to KSST Radio. I'm Sports Director Ross Lubinski, and thanks so much for joining us tonight as Wildcats soccer leads in a huge way at the half, 6-0 over the visiting Mount Pleasant Chapel Hill Red Devils. We'll just be calling them Chapel Hill or the Red Devils because it's a bit wordy, to be quite honest, but Chapel Hill looking to recover from Friday's loss to North Lamar, but doesn't look to be going their way in any way, shape, or fashion here. 6-0. Like I was saying earlier, if you consider their side of the 50 and maybe sprinkle in 10, and I'd say about another 5, so 15 yards, so 65 yards. 15 yards for Sulphur Springs. That's about where the ball has been. Almost always on Chapel Hill's side of the 50, if not about 15 into Sulphur Springs territory. So Sulphur Springs doing a really good job of dominating the ball, dominating time of possession, and getting very limited opportunities, and even more so, good looks for Chapel Hill. I mean, Sulphur Springs scoring early and often here in a big way. Sulphur Springs looking to recover from their PK shutout, sorry, not PK shutout, but PK loss in Paris last Friday. It was 1-1. Edgar Salazar getting the lone goal Friday night at Wildcat Stadium, but just couldn't make it happen in PKs, and Paris winning that one. So both teams now 8-1 in district, tied for first, but Sulphur Springs more than on their way to a win over Chapel Hill here tonight, and Paris plays Liberty Ilo. So like I was talking about earlier, the Leopards are struggling in district play, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that they just restarted the program this year for the first time in 2 years. One of the assistant coaches for LE mentioned that when I was shooting highlights for that game, and Coach Cupton confirmed it. And in fact, Liberty Ilo has already played Sulphur Springs for the second time, or at least they would have, but the Leopards forfeited that contest. That was the last Friday game in February that should have been played February 24th. Again, on Friday, that would have been played in Texarkana at Liberty Ilo, but the Leopards forfeited that one, as they forfeited a couple. In fact, yes, they forfeited Friday's game as well to Pleasant Grove, so I'm sure they're having some team fielding issues. You know, restarting a program, you're only going to have so much depth. In fact, you could say they would have exactly the opposite, so I'm sure that's the leading factor. But we wish them a speedy return, and that's a tall task, but yeah, that game should have been played that last Friday in February. Sulphur Springs falling last Friday, March 3rd. And now here Tuesday, March 7th, leading big over Chapel Hill, 6-0. Red Devils are 6th place in 15-4A. Or if you want to be a bit more brutally honest about it, blunt perhaps, they are second to last. But as I said, Sulphur Springs just been dominating possession, dominating the ball, and dominating the number of good looks on goal. Big reason why they lead 6-0, and not to mention they've had probably close to a dozen more, at least half-decent opportunities to put it in. So just keeping all the pressure on that keeper for the Red Devils. Chapel Hill going to look to at least erase that 0 on the scoreboard. But I imagine it's going to be a tall task, as like I was saying, it's barely made it past the 15 yards in from midfield on the Sulphur Springs side of the field. And times it has made it further than that, like say to the keeper, tie win for the Wildcats. It's been one of those situations where he's more or less strutting to the ball all alone for about 20 yards. So not a whole lot of opportunities for Chapel Hill, and that's something Coach Upton's been stressing all year long, his defense wins championship mentality, and up until last Friday, it's paid off in a big way. They had won 8 straight, including 8 straight district contests, but Balling in Paris doesn't derail them in the hopes of a potential district title. Luckily, they are doing really well in goal differential, picking up a number of blowout wins, and Paris slipping in that category. So we'll be eyeing that category, and I'll really go back and triple check the point system, because it's not so much just wins and losses. You always have to factor in the point system. 6 points for a win and 3 for a tie. But about 3.5 minutes to go here until we start the second period. Your Wildcats leading big 6-0 over Chapel Hill. And after the break, it'll be time for the second period, as we'll be set from Gerald Prim Stadium to bring you more Wildcats soccer. We'll be back.
Okay, we're out again. How much you want this time?
Got just over 3, so let's do 3 minutes.
Okay. We can do that.
You don't mind?
Don't mind. I'm here doing nothing else.
Well, if you insist.
Yeah. You did say 4 minutes?
3.
3 minutes, okay. 1, 2. Okay, we have one more spot to go after this one.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Five seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome back out to Gerald Prim Stadium. You're listening to KSST Radio as we bring you Wildcats Soccer, and it's just our first game of the year calling Wildcats Soccer. We've covered a few, done a few highlights. I've talked to Coach Upton a couple of post games, but yes, this is our first broadcast of the year. We did do a Lady Cats soccer game. I believe that was February 17th. Yes, we hosted North Lamar. The Lady Cats won big over the Lady Panthers. No, they are the Pantherettes. Got it. Oh, wow. All right. 0-0's on the clock, so that'll do it for the halftime game here at the Prim. Coach Upton having a nice little community involvement here. But in their first game at the Prim, following that PK loss in Paris, they lead big, 6-0. So this is in round 2 of district play. This is only the second home game. And they do have a couple more. No, sorry, they just have one more. So after tonight is the 10th game. So just 2 more. So what's coming up next for Sulphur Springs? They still have to play the second period versus Chapel Hill, but after tonight, they travel to Pittsburgh. That's Friday, March 10th, so this Friday. And then Tuesday is senior night, so a week from today. Make no mistake, we will be there, cheering on a number of seniors. In fact, let's check it. 12 seniors. My goodness. Senior-laden program. So 6 juniors and 12 seniors. My word. So Coach Upton and this squad really going to hope to send those seniors out with a bang. Luckily for them, they host the 5th place North Lamar Panthers at 3-6. Also, I want to give an update for those following Lady Cats soccer. So I mentioned the Wildcats play at Pittsburgh. That's this Friday. But Coach Adriana Brenna, when I had a chance to talk with her late February, she said that Pittsburgh only has one coach for both the men and women's programs. So the last time they played Pittsburgh, for both teams, that was Tuesday, February 14th. Both teams played at the Prim here. And so on Friday, again, not only is Wildcats soccer at Pittsburgh, but so are the Lady Cats. We have no teams in town on Friday. So as a result, no broadcast from KSST this Friday. We're going to enjoy a much needed bye. Here's a good pursuit by the Wildcats. No. Kicked away. Sulphur Springs coming out of the gate here. Now 30 seconds into this opening minute, and the Wildcats already with a really decent goal opportunity. This one, not so much. Cross sent directly into the corner. That's on that far side. Or sorry, no, it'll be a free kick from the keeper. Fair leg on that one, almost sent all the way up to the 50. Now, the Red Devils, with what is got to be their best pursuit here in this game. So, quickly, they come out firing. Their defense on the back end more aggressive as well.
You be cold.
Making a lot of nice back cuts.
Like, you be good, that's what I'm going to say. Oh my God. I know it's not cold. You think I'd be here to...
Throw in here. Right in front of the Wildcats bench. Easy to tell Sulphur Springs wearing all those neon orange jerseys. Some ricochet action at midfield. With it, though, is Salazar now. Salazar kicks it forward, but great pursuit on that far side by 15 for Chapel Hill. Throw in here from that same Red Devil. And Sulphur Springs just been really good at stymieing momentum at midfield. Good tackling. Just as we saw there. Now, here's a Wildcat with it, with a little bit of space. He pushes it forward, far side, near the corner. Ooh, kick out by the Red Devils. Sulphur Springs, no, they'll say it's Chapel Hill with the throw-in. Here in the 4th minute now in the second period, your Wildcats still leading big, 6-0. But Chapel Hill really looking to get that 0 off the scoreboard. They are playing with a guns blazing attitude. So whatever coach said at halftime, it worked. His team is really fighting for better positioning. It would take a momentous comeback. I mean, 6-0. Maybe if it was a 3-goal deficit, but in fact, I think that happened maybe, God, that might have even been 2 years ago at this point. Lady Cats soccer under former head coach Javier Aguayo. I think his team was, playing Mount Pleasant, and I want to say they led 3-0, and then just as quickly the Lady Tigers came back and scored 1 and maybe had 2. But soccer, the same as football, same as any sport. A lead can evaporate if you let off the gas a little too much. The Philadelphia Eagles know a thing or two about that. And kicked out, far side. Chapel Hill gets a throw in. And Ty Wynn easily comes to that one. Red Devils able to get it to forward. Like I was saying earlier, it was, at least in the first period, Sulphur Springs really kept it on the Chapel Hill side of the 50 and maybe about 15 yards into Wildcat territory. So the 65 yards that Chapel Hill didn't want the ball to be in for the first period. As a result, the Wildcats just putting it on. Got 6 goals in that first period, including their last 3, or really their last 4, all in the final 10 minutes. Wildcats doing a good job of kicking it out. Salazar now at the Chapel Hill 20. But they are the last team to touch it. So we'll have a throw in from your Wildcats inside the 20. In the 47th minute, your Wildcats still leading in a huge way, 6-0. So going back and looking over the stats from the season, looks like this is only their third 4-plus goal win. I mean, as long as Chapel Hill doesn't score 2 here in the final 33. Chapel Hill doing a much better job on the back end in this period. And the Wildcats have definitely let off the gas. But, I mean, Coach Upton said this after that 10-0 blowout over Liberty ILO. That was Monday, February 6th. So over a whole month ago. Can't believe it. But he said after that 10-0 blowout, he said he wanted to keep it in single digits, but unfortunately, just wasn't the case. They got that 10th goal, and Coach Upton must have had a meeting with that Liberty ILO coach, because once they got that 10th goal, not even a minute had passed, and it was called. So, especially when you consider that that game was within a week of the much talked about in the soccer community 20-0 blowout by Lancaster. So remember when I said 2-0's a big blowout or a blowout? This is a big blowout at 6-0, but 20-0? I mean, a literal football score? You guys are nuts. But to each their own, I suppose. Chapel Hill pushing it down. Now inside the Wildcat 20-yard line. Near side. Ooh. Not the control. 13 won it on that one. Goes way past him. Now the Wildcats starting to try to take it back the other way. With it is Kevin Garcia. Now it's Salazar inside the 10. Good pressure. He has to try and pass it away, but it ricochets off a Red Devil. Wildcats with the throw in. And big tackle there. And not inside the penalty box, so won't be a PK. But on the far side, from the end zone, here's the kick. No good. Chapel Hill able to push it away. Garcia, near side. The defender trying to push it up. Chapel Hill flex it out. So the Wildcats throw in. They're in the near corner, but really good defense. Alexis Passion being heavily pursued. And bounce off a Wildcat. That was quite the design there. So yes, Alexis Passion is a man who's been throwing the ball in, and he threw it. So Aubrey Camacho was standing in front of him, and again, he was trying to throw it in, and it bounced right off the back of Camacho and back to Passion. And he just got what he wanted, but here's a corner. And a little too much oomph. Ooh. Beautiful. Beautiful attempt at that, but nope. The kick from Simon Kiefer is good. The field goal makes it a no. No, that's not the right sport, unfortunately. Man, how much fun was it with that Wildcat football season this last year? Especially on the heels of that previous season. Making the playoffs was pretty big. And even without their starting quarterback, they played really well against Dallas Carter, just coming up short. But here with Wildcats soccer, leading big over Chapel Hill, 6-0 in the 53rd minute. With it in space is Passion, but no, he's offsides. Easy and quick call there for the ref, even as he was on the far side. For those wondering, what is offsides? It's when the player will pass the ball to a player in front of him, but the player in front of him is further away than the nearest defender. Best way I can describe it really is to say that if you see a player racing towards the goal and he's got a lot of space, there's probably something wrong there. But Passion with it near side. Now it's Hector Hernandez. Good pursuit. Goes to Simon Kiefer. Now taken away. Ooh, beautiful push forward. Sulphur Springs with another good kickback by Kiefer. Sulphur Springs, far side. And they may have they may have a cross opportunity and had a decent chance right there, but looks like it bounced off a Wildcat. And a Devil almost came up with it, but no, Sulphur Springs still with it. And here's an opportunity. No. Keeper for Chapel Hill just had to fall down on that one. Luckily for him, his job's been a bit easier here in the second period than it was in the first. As I mentioned, this team scored 4 of their 6 goals all in the first period, but 4 of the 6 of them came in the final 10 minutes. So really heading to the locker room with a bang. Here's a cross. In front of the Wildcat goal. No. High between the field goal posts. If this were football, this would now be a game. It'd be 6-3. But unfortunately for these Red Devils, here in men's soccer, they trail to your Wildcats 6-0. Last time these two teams played, it was a 4-0 blowout. Wildcats got 2 more than that in the first period alone. But it looks like we've got a player down, so we're going to take a quick timeout and hope he gets up just fine.
Okay, Ross, we're out.
Sorry about that.
We'll play until you say not to.
Why don't you give me 2 more?
Okay.
He just got up, so I may have to add another.
Eight. 30 seconds. Ten seconds. No, that's right. 15 seconds. Now it's 10 seconds. 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Thank you so much, James Terry. Sorry for the break in action, folks. We had a Red Devil down. Luckily, he is able to get up. He did need a little help from the coaching staff, but he is up and walking with that coaching staff to the sideline. Glad to see him back up. However, we've got a corner kick for your Wildcats in front of the Red Devil goal. Easily pushed away by the keeper. Now, with a little bit of space, that's quickly encompassed by Wildcats. They've got a lot of speed here. So, not only are these Wildcats just, hate to say it, but got more talent than these Red Devils. Not only that, got more speed too. That was something I kind of noted during basketball season when the Wildcats basketball team, sorry, I know it's soon, but when they fell in those non-district contests to Anna and Pinkston, I noticed that with Anna. I was like, wow, they are really fast. And perhaps that comes with being a Metroplex school and just having a pick of the litter, but sometimes you just have that. And coaches will tell you, you can't coach against quickness. Nothing to do about it if a team is quicker than you. As a Texas fan, I know this when it comes to C.D. Lamb. Wondering what I'm talking about? Just look up C.D. Lamb Red River highlights. But here at Gerald Prim Stadium, your Wildcats playing in only their second home game here in this round 2 of district play, and really it's their second to last home game. And of course, Sulphur Springs has already clinched a playoff spot. If they haven't, then they will tonight, but I can't imagine they haven't, because let's check over the district standings. So as I've been mentioning, Sulphur Springs tied with Paris for first at 8-1, and Sulphur Springs well on their way to a victory here, leading 6-0. And Paris, on this Tuesday game day, they play Liberty Ilo, as I mentioned earlier. So got to imagine both the Wildcats and the Paris Wildcats will end up with wins here tonight, and both teams as a result will be 9-1, so still tied for first. But Coach Upton said that his team is leading in goal differential. But Sulphur Springs the rest of the way plays Pittsburgh. That's this Friday. That's in Pittsburgh. And then a week from today, Tuesday, March 14th, is senior night. They welcome North Lamar to town, who is 3-6. And who do they play today? They play Pittsburgh, so kind of imagine they'll come up with a loss. So they might be 3-7 for that senior night contest because they have a bye on Friday. And, man, it'll be tough to upset these Wildcats when, as I mentioned, 12 seniors are on this team and playing in what will very, very likely be their final home game. Because when it comes to locations for playoff games, coaches have to flip on it. And the winning coaches gets to pick where they play. Not where they play, but something like that. They get to decide if they want it to be closer to them. Like, for instance, White House. Sulphur Springs played White House in the playoffs last year for men's soccer, and that was at White House. And besides that, and way back when I was in high school, Allen did host a playoff game or first-round playoff games, but that was also just after they finished that behemoth of a football stadium. And so I'm sure a lot of the visiting teams wanted that sort of exposure. And obviously since then, they have lost there. They went pretty far without losing. But Sulphur Springs here in the 51st minute, still leading 6-0. They've got a free kick from 24 yards out. Here's Yuri Santa Cruz. And several Wildcats offsides. Red Devils, really good discipline there to just simply not move an inch and let the Wildcats attack as they have done all night and draw them off sides. However, Jefferson Bonilla with it on the back end, pushing it forward to Hector Hernandez. Now it's Simon Kiefer. Far side. There's a Wildcat with it. Inside the 30. He stutter steps and tries to push it out to, I believe that's Edgar Salazar. But keeper for Chapel Hill, all too ready to come back to it. He kicks it away. Pushing it back to the keeper is Chapel Hill. There was a Wildcat racing to the goal. That was Manuel Tellez. And had he been about a half a second earlier, he could have beaten that goalie and potentially put that one in. But I'm sure Coach Upton's message to his team was probably just about the same as Liberty Ilo at this point. You know, you don't want to be classless. That's exactly what Coach Upton said following the 10-0 Liberty Ilo blowout destruction of them. But times like these are really good to get all your guys some playing time, because as another thing a coach will tell you, you can't simulate, like you can't get real game time action. You can only simulate it so much. There is no pace quite like actual game pace. Ooh, big sliding tackle on the far side. We've got a Wildcat down for a moment, and same with the Red Devil, but both are able to get up just as quickly. Wildcats set for the throw-in, still leading 6-0. So taking some time for the throw-in. With it, far side. Are the Wildcats. And really good pursuit by the Red Devils. Really honing in on the ball in that far corner. And forcing the Wildcat to kick it out. The Red Devils get a free kick from their keeper. And whistle called on the field, so it will go back the Wildcats' way. So Sulphur Springs, well on their way to winning here. Now less than 15 to go in this one. And not the cross he was wanting. Waited too long to get to that one and try and get it away to his player. Oh, it's ricocheted off the goalie. Sulphur Springs and Jackson still with it. But Red Devils doing a much better job here in this second period of pursuing on the back end and really pressuring the back end for Sulphur Springs. Here on the near side is Chapel Hill. Pushing it down. Pushing it forward. Are the Red Devils. They've still got it inside the 10 now. But looks like Simon Kiefer all too ready. Such a reliable back for Coach Upton. And Wildcats soccer about, well, less than 13 and a half to go now. Your Wildcats still leading 6-0. Chapel Hill with a really good push back here, but it will be inbounded via a corner by Sulphur Springs. Header by a Red Devil goes to a Wildcat. It's Jackson. Tries to put it in. No. Really good pursuit here on the near side. That was Kevin Garcia. As a result, his team gets the throw in. In pretty decent position are the Wildcats. Chapel Hill trying to get something on the board. Really just trying to get that 0 off the scoreboard. 6-1 would be the score at that point. But Wildcats still holding on to the shutout with a little under 12 to go now. Passion. Looks like it ricocheted off a couple of players, but now it's J.C. Salas. Ricochets. Jackson on the far side. Set for the throw in. Sulphur Springs throwing it in. Here in the 69th minute, your Wildcats holding on to their 6-0 lead. I say holding on because Chapel Hill has, here in, I hate to say it, but garbage time, they've just been really aggressive, as you see here in the closing minutes of any game that's a blowout. The team that's ahead obviously lets their foot off because, you know, big blowout wins only look so good because you win so much. And like that Lancaster 20-0 win I was mentioning earlier, you don't want to, because if it gets to be too big, then it starts to be disrespectful. Jackson, far side for Sulphur Springs. Ooh, good movement, but no, not the pass he was wanting. Going to the back bar on the right side of the net. So we'll have a free kick here from the keeper. So I mentioned Wildcats basketball. I mentioned men's soccer and Lady Cats soccer. Again, both men and women's soccer on Friday are at Pittsburgh. Softball is at New Diana. So, no broadcast for KSST this Friday, but we will be back next Tuesday, a week from today, covering this same team, Wildcats soccer. But a week from today is senior night for Sulphur Springs. So, Coach Upton and the entire soccer program going to hope to have as nice of a show out as Wildcats basketball did in their senior night contest. But not only do they want that, they want as many fans as possible in the stands come playoff time. And Jackson, he's got it with a little bit of space. Ooh, through the uprights, but that won't be good enough. Too much air on that one. The blonde hair might start calling him Air Bud because he got that dog in him. Ooh, some good movement there. Looks like that was Kevin Garcia. Free kick here. The Red Devils trying to push it up. Here in the 72nd minute, your Wildcats still getting some touches from now Jose Manuel Rodriguez deep in the back end for Chapel Hill. So, just about 7 minutes to go here in this one. Your Wildcats leading in a huge way, 6-0. Let's talk about the other teams in action. So I mentioned both men and women's soccer. Softball. Let's talk about softball and baseball. So both of those teams have actually now wrapped up tournament play, if you can believe it or not. I certainly can here in the first Tuesday in March. Both teams already through tournament play. So the women's team, the softball squad, they played in 3 tournaments. They hosted their first in Sulphur Springs. They went a perfect 6-0. Then in Mount Pleasant, going, I believe that was 3-1. Let me double check that. Sorry, no, that was 4-1. They won some pretty nice wins won 3-1 over Hooks. A 1-0. A win the following Monday. Sulphur Springs went 5-1 over 4 days. And then this past weekend, they were in nearby Royce City, and the Lady Cats went 2-1. They won the revenge match against Prairieland this past weekend. That was they flipped the script entirely, so they lost to Prairieland in their first loss in the season, 5-0. But then, this time around, in Royce City, they won 5-0. So good on them. And then they also played yesterday on Monday at Maybank. Crimson Bryant pitching another shutout, 1-0. She pitched a complete game and struck out 16 batters. If I'm not mistaken, it was some absurd stat like batters are well lower than hitting a 10th against Crimson Bryant. Like, it is, she has just gotten better and better. And then, so that's Lady Cats softball. And as I mentioned, this Friday they are in New Diana. And then they have one more non-district contest. That's next Tuesday. That's versus Bullard. So that's at home. As much as I'd like to cover that game, or the baseball team at Liberty ILO. More on them in a second. Again, we will be covering soccer again a week from today, Tuesday, March 14th, as men's soccer hosts North Lamar for senior night. That is very likely to be the final home game for 12 seniors on this team. Good save by the keeper. That Wildcat really thought about, he took his sweet time. These Wildcats clearly don't want to do any more damage. And why would they? You're in the 77th minute, just 3 minutes to go, already 6-0, 6-0. But yes, in the time I've got remaining, I'll talk about Wildcats baseball. So I mentioned softball had already wrapped up tournament play, but it's the same for baseball. Softball played 3 tournaments, however, baseball was in just 2. So the same weekend, that would have been weekend before last, both baseball and softball were in Mount Pleasant. So very kind of both Tiger and Lady Tigers to welcome our Sulphur Springs squads. And that didn't go as well for Sulphur Springs. I mean, they didn't play 5 or 6 games like the Lady Cats did hosting, but they did play in 4, and they kind of got a district preview of one of their new teams in District Pittsburgh. Unfortunately for Coach Jared Hammock's squad, they lost their season opener 9-1. But after that, though, well, I really should say, following that season tournament opening loss in Mount Pleasant, it just improved from there. They tied Atlanta 4-4. That was game 2 Thursday, so 2 games that day. And then 1 game Friday, beating former district foe Mount Pleasant 6-0. Thanks to 6 walks and a single, giving the Wildcats a huge 6-0 lead, which is where that final score would stay. And then just really piling it on Grace Community, 11-1, 10-run rules. The Wildcats 10-run ruled Grace Community. I mean, they used a huge inning, or really just a huge game. No, that was the fourth inning. Wow. 2 errors, 4 walks, 2 singles, a strikeout, but 2 fielders' choices equaled an 11-1 win. So Sulphur Springs just really putting it on them. That ended up a 2-1-1 Mount Pleasant tourney. And then this past weekend at Wiley East, they went 2-2, so picking up 2 straight wins to begin it. 3-0 over host Royce City on Friday, and then Friday game 2 winning 2-1. Saturday, though, not as fruitful, getting shut out and blown out by Plano West, and I'll have you know that they are the best. A little running joke from my old days at Allen, but yes, losing 8-0 versus Plano West, and that's a tough one. And then another really tough matchup, Lake Highlands. That was Saturday, falling 8-3. They went 2-2 in the tourney, 2-0 on Friday, and 0-2 on Saturday. And now, heading into a 3-game series this weekend, they are 4-3-1 on the season. That is Thursday, they host Gilmer. Saturday, they host Gilmer. And then Friday night, they are at Gilmer. But those are 000s on the scoreboard, and that will do it here at Gerald Prim Stadium as your Wildcats score early and often in a 6-0 blowout win, including their final 4 goals, or really final 4 goals scored here in this game, all in the final 10 minutes of the first period. So congratulations to these Wildcats for a very impressive win. And they are now, 16-8-1 on the season, including 9-1 in district play. And I was about to say, barring a huge upset, but let's be honest, it's not going to happen. Paris will beat Liberty Isle tonight, whether it's an outright win or it's a forfeit. I hate to say it for the Leopards. Hats off to them for restarting the program, but Paris will more than likely pick up that win, so they'll stay tied with the Wildcats at 9-1, with both teams having just 2 games to go. The Wildcats, one of their 2 games comes up this Friday, where they travel to Pittsburgh. And again, Lady Cats Soccer is also in Pittsburgh. This is one of the well, I don't want to say one of the lone game days, because we have a lot of game days coming up for baseball and softball, but this is one of the few game days up to this point in this semester where we haven't had a single team from Sulphur Springs in town. But that'll be the reason we aren't broadcasting Friday. Going to take a much-needed bye for myself and all the rest of us at KSST. But again, we will be back with men's soccer next Tuesday for senior night when they host North Lamar. All too fun hosting our first Wildcats soccer game, especially so considering it was a 6-0 blowout win. Bummed to say our only second and final live stream will be next Tuesday for senior night, but just unfortunately not able to broadcast or live stream playoff games. So again, our final live stream for Wildcat Soccer is next Tuesday for senior night versus North Lamar, and that is a same thing, 7:30 kickoff time. But best of luck to Wildcat Soccer and Lady Cat Soccer in Pittsburgh Friday, looking to get one win closer to district titles for both teams. I'll be speaking with Coach Adriana Brenna on what I believe her team has already clinched a district title, but I'll be speaking to her and her players to confirm and get their thoughts and reactions on that, as it's the first in program history. But plenty more on all the sports to come, folks. Hope you've enjoyed listening to KSST Radio tonight as your Wildcats win big over Mount Pleasant Chapel Hill 6-0. With your play-by-play, I'm Ross Lebinsky. Shooting video for us throughout this school year has been Matt Jansen, and back at the station making all the magic happen is James Terry. Back to you, James.
Thank you, Ross. Thank you for your game coverage. It's been a good game. You've been listening to Wildcat Soccer on KSST 1230 AM Sulphur Springs. And we'll go back to regular programming after these 2 messages. Okay, we're out. Good game. Talk to you later.
Talk to you later.
Okay, bye.
Bye.